Hi, today is Monday, July the 19th, and this is the SPX Outlook for the coming week. To be more exact, it's a 2-day outlook, since my favorite or preferred time frame for this type of analysis I do on the weekends is the 4-hour chart, and I believe the way I read the market is valid for a few bars, so more or less 2 days. On a daily basis, I do updates on Slack, and I use the 1-hour chart, which is also good for a few bars, so generally for half a day, maybe up to a day. Okay, that's done. So now let's look at the 4-hour chart. We see that we had the market penetrate the 43.75 resistance level, a very strong resistance across all time frames, and this is due to the fact that NDX had a go at 15k, the Dow Jones also had a go at 35,000. And I thought the market would still try and bump there, but on Friday we finally saw a rejection of that level, and that came very clearly. The market then dropped to those fibs that I drew from here to there, i.e. about 4,300 to the all-time highs, and the market dropped, and overnight it's still drifting down, probably aiming for this strong support in the 4,300 area. We see here that I've also drawn a fib expansion target, and I always like to see coincidence in levels, and the first target here on this bearish expansion is 42.94. The next one is exactly on this fib, 42.35, 42.40, and you see here this would be the bearish resilience test on 41.90, let's say 4200, and we have the last one. I don't think it will go this far in one go, but this is actually interesting to see this alignment of levels. So of course we have a number of earnings coming. The financials proved okay in general, and yet they disappointed the market, so I believe earnings would have to be really spectacular to please the market. Let's not forget also that the volumes, trade volumes, are pretty thin. I mean, on Friday, on this kind of fall, we only had 3.2 billion shares traded on the SP, which is still pretty low. So it's still retail. I think the whales, the big institutions have not really sold. All they have, if you check the commentators on what Buffett is doing on Berkshire or others, they've already accumulated a lot of cash. They don't actually need to divest a lot more, so they will go with the flow and look for dips to probably try and buy. The market is, I mean, if you look at the economy, it's still in recovery. The Fed is becoming a little bit more hawkish, but yet they haven't done anything. So of course, if we were to look at rates, the rates will probably be increased by a notch or two sometime next year. We also see that there's a lot of appetite for bonds. The bond yields are fairly low. I checked the 10-year and it was below 1.3. So what are we seeing here? I would see that this market trying to find support at 4,300, and of course if it doesn't, we have those fibs, and 42.35, 42.40 will also be quite interesting. There will most probably be a bounce, but because I don't see the market falling right away. This is actually good for our positions, and we will look at that in the next video. So on this one, fairly clear to me that 4,300 will be fought as a support. And let's now look at a longer time frame. Here we see that the angle of attack or the ascent was definitely too abrupt, too steep to be sustainable. So market is just taking what we would call a breather. I mean, it's just healthy profit taking and nothing else. Now, if we were to go back below 42.37, 40, I mean, it would be previous range with a resistance that around 42.40, and the market then could go back to these lows, or at least trade in a range below the current range. Current range would be, I would say, 42.40 to 4400, and we would move probably in the same type of amplitude. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see, at the moment the pivot line is way below, so this is not actually a very strong support, but I would say that it's likely that the market will show a pivot going back to 42.40 and a stronger support around here. So now let's look at today. Maybe clearer here on the 1-hour chart. The market is definitely testing. There's some buying around here. We see the same levels. So if this one breaks, we would probably go straight to 42.40, and that would be good enough for now. The strong support here is 42.20, 42.15, and there could be a strong support area around here. The chances of a bounce are possible, with a possible target around 43.40, but I think the bulls have taken a knock, and I don't see the market going past 43.40 right now. That being said, the market has been quite erratic lately, and nothing can be totally discarded. So for now, support and maybe bearish condition around here. If it breaks, another wave of sell-off to here, and otherwise, if it doesn't, if the support holds, we would have a trading range 4300 to 43.40 today or tomorrow. Earnings are coming with, I think, IBM today, Microsoft on Thursday, and there will be a flurry of earnings towards the end of the month. Okay, that's it for now. As usual, updates on Slack. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.